Well, guys, I want to give you a perspective to show you how totally dependent we are on God's timing, right down to our ability to even live. And to do that, I want to talk to you about this. This is the human heart. Guys, the human heart is an amazing piece of machinery, so incredibly complex. It beats on average 100,000 times a day, and each beat has about the strength that it takes to squeeze down a tennis ball. And as I said, 100,000 times a day, and that beating happens in perfect timing. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Perfect timing and perfect rhythm. And the reason that it works out so perfectly is because God has put his timing into our heart in the form of a pacemaker. Now, you're probably familiar with the idea of a pacemaker. We know medical pacemakers, they look something like this. Very complex, but guys, these are crude child's toys compared to the pacemaker that God put into our heart. God's pacemaker is known as something called the SA node, the sinoatrial node. It is basically this complex bit of machinery that sends out electrical impulses in God's perfect timing so that it beats and beats and beats. And guys, most people, they don't appreciate that at all. They just go about, yeah, my heart's doing fine. But for somebody like me, guys, I have a great appreciation for the need of God's timing for my heart because of my medical disease. Sometimes my heart gets out of rhythm. In fact, guys, it can get out of rhythm to such a point that I need one of these around my house. This is actually a defibrillating device if I go into one of those dangerous rhythms. And it's kind of funny, when I told David I wanted to use this as a teaching prop, he said, well, Andy, if you were really committed to the cause of teaching, you would demonstrate it for everybody. Of course, my response is, well, David, I'd be glad to. Why don't you come on over here and I'll demonstrate it on you? He declined nonetheless, but guys, I do have a great appreciation for this because when my heart gets out of timing with God's perfect rhythm, wow, things get messed up. A couple months ago, Cindy actually had to bring me into the emergency room because I went into one of those rhythms and I needed to be defibrillated. And believe me, guys, after getting 200 joules of electricity on your chest, you have a great appreciation for how totally dependent we are on God's timing for our life to work. And guys, it's not just our physical life that is totally dependent on God's timing with our heart. Guys, our eternal life is totally dependent on God's perfect timing when he sent his son at that perfect time to come into this world for us. So guys, just a perspective for you to think about. I hope it was helpful. David, I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you unless you want to come by and, demonstrate for us. Back to you. Thanks so much.